Welcome. It is a quiet night with a beautiful moon, isn't it? On a night like this, would you like a cup of warm coffee? I shall brew a special one just for you. Now, tonight I have a story for you. Let's start with a slightly mysterious question. If sleep were to disappear from this world, what do you think would happen? We spend about 1/3 of our lives sleeping. It's a very long time. If that time were no longer necessary, it seems like it would give us the tremendous gift of time, doesn't it? But would that really be a happy thing? First, to proceed with this story, there is one important word I want you to remember. It might sound difficult, but it is a very simple story. It is homeostasis. It sounds like a spell, doesn't it? But this is a very clever function that our bodies have. It means biological automatic adjustment system, or to put it more simply, let's call it the body's automatic balance code. Our bodies automatically adjust many things without us being conscious of it. Keeping body temperature constant, beating the heart regularly, regulating blood pressure and hormone secretion. All of these are moved by this program deep inside the body called homeostasis. If this homeostasis malfunctions, what do you think happens? There is a very rare and terrifying disease in humans called fatal familial insomnia, FFI. When people get this disease, they gradually become unable to sleep, eventually cannot sleep at all, and lose their lives in a few years. What this disease teaches us is that sleep is not just a rest. It is absolutely essential to maintain the balance of our entire body, something like a pillar supporting the foundation of life. If sleep is lost, this important balance is broken, and the body causes a fatal malfunction. That is what was written in the books in the archive. Now, what if humanity completely stopped needing to sleep? In the short term, each person would gain about 26 years of time in their life. And for society as a whole, it is calculated that a tremendous amount of time, more than 250 billion hours every year, would be created. It looks like a huge present sent from the universe. However, the books in the archive say that the price is much, much larger than we imagine. It is a heavy price that involves the very foundation of life. If sleep disappears, the important waste removal system deep in our brains will be lost. The mechanism to wash away waste products accumulating in the brain, such as amyloid beta, for example. And the homeostasis, the automatic balance function of the whole body I spoke of earlier, will also be broken. It is as if a machine that is always working continues to move without maintenance and finally falls apart. Due to ethical issues, we cannot conduct safe experiments where humans do not sleep for years. But from cases of fatal familial insomnia, experiments with animals, and observations of people who did not sleep for a short time, we can know what happens when a sleepless state continues. If sleep disappears, the body's automatic balance will be disrupted, and in the end, life will be lost. Waste will accumulate in the brain, and the risk of severe forgetfulness or confusion from a young age will increase. There will be no escape from stress and painful memories, and more people might be trapped in an endless hell of consciousness. And the increased time will not be free time, but will change into obligatory time to work more and learn more. The poverty of mind, feeling not enough time, might become the usual state. Sleep is the final safety device for us to live humanly and healthily. Just like an important anchor that protects our ship from sinking on a stormy night. We spend about 1/3 of our lives, about 26 years, sleeping. Since this is such an incredibly long time, we tend to think, I'm wasting it, right? In Japan, we have a concept called mottainai. It usually means wasteful in terms of throwing away something valuable. But thinking of sleep as mottainai is the real mistake. Sleep is not waste. It is the most precious resource we have. The definition of sleep is a time when consciousness fades a little, the body rests slowly, and the brain organizes itself quietly. In other words, sleep is a super important maintenance time for the mind and body that we cannot do when we are awake. While sleeping, the body does special repairs, and the brain organizes the day's memories. This is very similar to charging a smartphone or a system update for a computer. It repairs tired cells with all its might. Things seen, heard, and felt during the day. It organizes many memories, selects important ones, and puts them neatly in drawers. Especially for growing children, a magical thing called growth hormone that increases height and weight is secreted while sleeping. It restores the power to fight illness and strengthens the immune function that protects our bodies from bad things. Now, let's look more detail at what work the brain is doing while sleeping. It is known that there are mainly 3 super important functions. The first is the brain's waste removal system. When we use our heads actively during the day, waste products, like small waste, accumulate little by little in the brain, especially waste called amyloid beta, or AB, is said to be the cause of Alzheimer's type dementia. This cleaning of the brain is done by a very clever mechanism called the glymphatic system while we are in deep sleep. This is a system where a clean liquid called cerebrospinal fluid circulates in the brain and washes away these waste products cleanly. If sleep is insufficient or the quality of sleep is poor, the discharge of this amyloid beta does not go well, and it is known that the risk of severe forgetfulness increases in the future. By the way, the efficiency of this brain cleaning seems to change depending on the sleeping posture. The books in the archive said that sleeping on your side is useful for washing away waste most efficiently. Maybe all cats know this. I always sleep curled up. The second is the file saving and organization of memories. Sleep is a very important time to firmly fix memory consolidation, the new information and skills we learned during the day, just like organizing important documents neatly in files and putting them in drawers. It is said that this work of organizing and fixing memories can only be done in a quiet, offline state with no external stimuli. So studying all night might not be a very good method in terms of properly storing what you memorized in your brain. I read something like that in the books in the archive. Especially during REM sleep when you are dreaming, the memorized information is reconfirmed many times in the brain, and unnecessary information is organized. It was written that nerve cells that moved actively when learning start moving again during sleep, organizing the circuits of the parts connecting nerve cells, synapses, or updating them to new ones. The third is the purification of the heart, catharsis. Sleep is also deeply involved in the organization and recovery of our emotions. Dreams seen while sleeping during REM sleep are said to have the role of processing stress held during the day and the fog in the heart, and organizing emotions. Letting out worries and stress in some form and making the heart organized and calm is called catharsis, purification of the heart. Sleep gently performs this catharsis of the heart while we are unaware, helping mental stability, just like cleaning the water of a small lake deep in the heart. The story of our sleep cycle and the accompanying hormones. Our sleep is made of a cycle that repeats from light sleep to deep sleep, and then to sleep where we dream, REM sleep, in a cycle of about 90 minutes. Non-REM sleep, about 75%, includes deep sleep, and mainly corresponds to body recovery time. It is a time when the body is resting soundly. REM sleep, about 25%, is when the body is resting, but the brain is working very actively, also called dream time. Memory organization and emotional processing are often done during this time. Also, do you know a hormone called melatonin? This is known as a sleep sign. Secretion begins in the evening around 9 p.m., peaks around 11 p.m., and stops around 7 a.m., accurately adjusting our sleep rhythm like a watchmaker. Then, why do all living things on this earth sleep? The absolute necessity of sleep. That sleep is not just a break, but absolutely essential for life to be active, is supported by many scientific evidences and the history of life evolution. Did you know that all animals on this earth, although different in shape, take sleep? Creatures with brains absolutely need sleep. The books in the archive clearly stated there is no animal that can live without sleep. This is the truth that the history of life evolution of hundreds of millions of years teaches us. Although experiments on humans cannot be done, the hereditary disease called fatal familial insomnia I mentioned earlier is a representative example proving that inability to sleep leads to death. Patients with this disease gradually become unable to sleep, eventually reaching a state where they cannot sleep at all, and often lose their lives within a few months to a few years, about 6 to 36 months from the onset. The terrifying thing about this disease is that it is not just about not being able to sleep, but it accompanies symptoms where the autonomic nerves, homeostasis, that maintain the body's balance, malfunction, such as inability to regulate body temperature well or strange sweating. The case of FFI clearly shows how indispensable sleep is for maintaining our body's functions, and that if it is lost, the entire body causes a fatal malfunction. There is a slightly sad experiment called total sleep deprivation experiment using rats, small animals similar to humans. This is an experiment to keep rats from sleeping all the time, and it is said that all the subject rats lost their lives within 11 to 32 days. Until they lost their lives, many abnormalities were seen in the rats' bodies. Even though weight continued to decrease, appetite increased. Systemic abnormalities, such as the body's metabolic rate becoming more than twice normal. And since there were no major wounds in the brain tissue until death, the cause of death is thought to be collapse of systemic metabolism and immune function due to lack of sleep. In other words, it's not that the brain broke, but that the body stopped functioning overall. In a relatively new study in 2020, experiments using fruit flies and mice revealed something very interesting. It is that if sleep is insufficient, bad things for the body, called reactive oxygen species, ROS, accumulate in the intestines, causing life-threatening oxidative stress. Surprisingly, when given medicine to prevent this active oxygen from accumulating or manipulating genes a little, those animals were able to live long even if they hardly slept. This discovery suggests that the role of sleep is like a detoxification work inside the body. In other words, sleep is a mechanism to process harmful things that accumulate in the body while awake and repair the body, just like a small water purifier that cleans dirty water. What if we became humans who do not sleep? Experiments to see if humans can stay awake safely forever are not allowed ethically or from the viewpoint of body function, but from past short-term experiments and observations of sick people, we can predict what serious effects there will be if sleep is taken away. Even if sleep is just a little insufficient, our brain function drops significantly. If you don't sleep for 24 hours, your judgment ability drops by about 50%, and your memory drops by about 30%. The time to react to something also becomes 35% longer. It is reported that staying awake for 24 hours makes the brain function as bad as a blood alcohol concentration of 0.10%. It's like being a little drunk. If you don't sleep for 48 hours, you will start seeing hallucinations, having delusions, and your emotions will become unstable. Immune power will also drop. If you don't sleep for 72 hours or more, mental confusion will occur and the sense of reality will be lost. There is a famous story about a person named Randy Gardner who did an experiment of not sleeping for 11 days, 264 hours continuously. From around the 10th day of the experiment, not only did his short-term forgetfulness become sustained and concentration could not be sustained, but serious mental disorders such as paranoia and hallucinations were reported. Even more terrifyingly, there is scientific evidence that just continuing 6 hours of sleep every day for a week lowers brain function as much as not sleeping for 24 hours. It's like shaving away your mind and body little by little every day. Even if you manage to survive for a few weeks with some technology, if the main functions of sleep are not replaced, this will happen. The entire body will break down. The body's automatic balance function, autonomic nerves, will remain disrupted. Body temperature regulation will not go well. Hormones will not be secreted well. Eventually, like the FFI patients earlier, the danger to life will continue forever. The inside of the brain will be full of waste. Since the brain cleaning system, glymphatic system, does not work, waste called amyloid beta will continue to accumulate, and the risk of developing symptoms like dementia from a young age will be extremely high. The heart will remain tired, and the possibility of getting sick will increase. Sleep has an important role in restoring the battery of the heart. If the state of being awake continues, the heart will always be tired, and the risk of depression and anxiety disorders will increase. More people will fall into the hell of consciousness, where they cannot escape from painful memories. Humans have used the mental defense function of temporarily forgetting or putting on a mental shelf past painful traumas and regrets by falling asleep. If sleep disappears completely, people will be forced to constantly face those painful memories. The fact that consciousness is not cut off might increase the number of people falling into a hell of consciousness, like being trapped in a prison with no escape. This looks like it could be the theme of a dystopian movie. A story where the protagonist struggles to find a ray of hope in this endless suffering of consciousness. I have read such a story in the books in the archive. Let's assume that sleepless humanity is really born. Let's assume that sleepless humanity, who can perfectly handle brain trash cleaning, memory fixation, and body balance maintenance while awake, is really born on some star. The world might change dramatically, but perhaps in a tragic direction. First, a frenzy named time will occur. Since the usable time increases by about 8 hours every day, working hours might also double. In the short term, the country's economic scale will grow with tremendous momentum. It will be a society that does not stop for 24 hours. In Japan, there is a serious social issue known as karoshi, or death from overwork. In a sleepless world, this concept might become the global norm. The idea of 8-hour labor will surely disappear. A system of producing without rest, such as a 2-shift system of 12-hour labor, might become commonplace. Trains, logistics, and hospitals will also cut night maintenance time and continue to move for 24 hours. The efficiency of society as a whole should increase tremendously. But please think a little. Is a world where everyone is working all the time really rich? I would rather roll around in the sun all day. And the poverty of mind brought by time, and a new gap might emerge. The time that should have been obtained will unfortunately likely not exist as free leisure. You will be exposed to pressure from society to work harder. When the natural physiological rest of sleep disappears, the pressure that everyone around is working, so I have to work too, will be forced from the whole society. The increased 8 hours might be incorporated into the social system as time for obligatory self-study and skill improvement to keep winning the competition. Mental illness named time poverty might become normal. In research on working hours, if the total time of work, housework, childcare, etc. exceeds 12 hours a day on weekdays, it is considered heavy labor, equivalent to the Karoshi line, and it is said to fall into time poverty. If it becomes a sleepless society, this level of activity will become natural, and many people might be in a state where their hearts are always cornered. It looks like it would appear in an SF novel, where time becomes currency and you cannot live without time. A new division called time gap will be born. Until now, social disparity was money difference. But in a sleepless world, the knowledge gap between the elite layer who can continue to learn constantly and the layer who just consumes time will appear as a time gap far exceeding the economic disparity so far. And the division of society might deepen further. Loss of light, named creativity, might occur. If the function of organizing the mind and organizing memories by dreaming is lost, humanity might lose emotional fluctuations and depth. As a result, while society becomes very efficient and logical, the power to empathize with someone and the creativity to create beautiful art might decline, changing into a society only of competition that is emotionally cold. A world where people who do not have emotions or whose emotions are suppressed live, that might be said to be the ultimate controlled society in a sense. The story of those who try to regain lost emotions there will surely be moving. Silence will become the greatest luxury. When the time called sleep, when everyone stops activity, disappears from society, the act of consciously stopping activity and cutting oneself off from a lot of information, that is, silence and meditation, will be treasured as a very luxurious mental rest. This reminds me of the Japanese aesthetic of Ma, the negative space. Just as music needs silence to be beautiful, life needs the Ma of sleep to have meaning. Rest will be commercialized as a very expensive service to maintain mental stability, and a rest gap where only rich people can maintain mental stability might be born. Family bonds might become weak. Traditional family bonds have been deepened by eating dinner together at night and falling asleep at the same time. But if sleep disappears, family members will be able to work at disparate times, and the time to see each other will decrease tremendously. The possibility of weakening the family bond, which is the foundation of society, cannot be denied. The burden on the planet will increase explosively. There was a time when society as a whole took a break at night to inspect trains and reset the burden on the environment, nightlights and noise. If social activities continue for 24 hours, lighting and factory operations will increase explosively. The books in the archive said that the possibility of global warming and resource shortage problems becoming even more serious is very high. A new human right called right to sleep might be born. If only some people had a constitution that still needed sleep, they would bear an overwhelming time disadvantage and be excluded from social competition. In this situation, the necessity to protect the right to sleep as a new human right might emerge. This might become a story of a big conflict over human rights. A story where a minority who dares to choose to sleep or wishes to sleep in a society where a sleepless constitution is favored fights for human dignity. Such a manga idea comes to mind. Oops, excuse me. I got excited. Why do humans hurry so much? I would curl up by a warm window and take a nap. Being trapped in such a square iron box, car, and hurrying so much, I cannot understand it. After all, sleep is a precious treasure for us. A sleepless future seems to have a very attractive possibility of being efficient and gaining a lot of time. But the books in the archive teach us such an important thing. The time of sleep that looked like waste was actually the most important lifeline to maintain the balance of our body and mind. Sleep is not just a rest. It is the best investment for the body and brain that are tired from daytime activities and have accumulated a lot of waste products. From old times, they say, if you make an effort wisely. Studying after sleeping well improves memory by 30%, understanding by 25%, and efficiency becomes 2 times compared to studying all night, the books in the archive said. Will the future of sleepless humanity choose the gift called time, seeking efficiency and knowledge? Or will it choose the balance called slumber that protects maintenance of life and mental depth, even if it looks a little inefficient? This will be something that forces the alternate choice for humanity. What you are worried about now is just a moment's event from the perspective of the eternal time of the universe. It's okay. Your future starts from tonight's good quality sleep, because that is the best investment for yourself tomorrow. The future where we get tremendous time we can use in life looks like a big chance. But the time called sleep that looked like waste was actually the most important lifeline to maintain the balance of our body and mind. Sleep is not just a rest, but the best investment for the body and brain exhausted by daytime activities and accumulated waste products. If you make an effort wisely. Studying after sleeping well improves memory by 30%, understanding by 25%, and efficiency becomes 2 times compared to studying all night. The future of sleepless humanity will be something that forces the ultimate choice for humanity. Whether to choose the gift called time, seeking efficiency and knowledge, or to choose the balance called slumber, protecting maintenance of life and mental depth, even if it is inefficient. Your future starts from tonight's good quality sleep, because that is the best investment for yourself tomorrow. Oh, it seems dawn is breaking. It's about time I close the shop. Did I talk a little too much? But if your heart became a little calm, I am very happy. Please come again. Good night.